So I'm going to preface this with, I haven't played UFO 50 yet, but I've seen a ton of reviews on the game.
Don't nobody give a fuck what your dumb ass think. Give me this motherfucker.
Which inspired this video. If you don't know what UFO 50 is, well, it's a game with 50, let's call them smaller scoped games. The concept here is that this is a lost console called the UFO, and these are 50 games that were released for it. As I said before, the games are all much smaller in scope than all AAA and most indie games, but the core gameplay loops seems to be addictive and satisfying for most people. With so many options to choose from, I'm sure most gamers would find at least 5 games that they really enjoy. This game got me thinking, what if major studios would do something like this? Why don't we have an EA 50, where EA gives their developers the ability to divide themselves into small groups and work on 50 tiny scoped games over a 20 or 30 day period, giving their employees the ability to flex their creativity and explore new ideas. They could even set limitations in the same manner as UFO 50, so all the games would fit a unique style. The games would be developed in a game jam-like fashion, focus on fun mechanics, and polish rather than stretching out content. I would love to see the Madden team take their knowledge to innovate on the sport in a new arcadey or experimental way, or maybe even create a new sport that can only exist in a digital space, or for the PopCap team to develop a new style of puzzle game, or the Need for Speed team to make a simple car battle game, or even a ridiculous car RPG. You could even merge teams and developers from different studios together and blend their knowledge in game design. What happens when a PopCap programmer, a BioWare designer, and an EA Sports graphic artist get together? Well, I don't know, but I'd be really interested to see the result, especially if you limit them to 4 weeks of dev time, and then even further scope them down by resolution or poly count, or whatever else you're using to create this fantasy console. I guess what I really want is, I want to know who these developers are that develop these AAA games. AAA games are sort of like choirs. They all work together, and usually the conductor or the lead singer gets all the credit. However, each participant does add something to the music, and the choir wouldn't be strong without every individual. Sure, that lead singer or conductor might shape the direction of the choir, but they truly move as one piece. However, with all this talent in this metaphorical music group, each of these artists could likely stand on their own. Maybe not be as successful, but there is definitely an audience for each of them. I want to learn more about the devs that make these games. I want to see them add their own personality and flair. I want to see how weird, quirky, or maybe even conventional they all are. Now, this project idea isn't just for people like me either. I think major publishers and dev teams can benefit from this as well. Now, not all of these games will be masterpieces. In this batch of games, you'll likely find something that they can expand upon, either a new mechanic, or game, or maybe even an entirely new genre of game. This bundle could then be sold to fans. I know I'd happily pay $25 or $30 for 50 smaller games made by a AAA dev. I mean, I'm already doing it with UFO 50, and that's by an indie dev. I think every developer involved can actually get something out of this as well. First, you're placing people in roles that they might not have been in since they joined the AAA space. Programmers now have to think like a designer. Artists might have to think about mechanics in a new way, or maybe even code. When you work on a larger scale project with multiple people, you usually specialize in your job, focus solely on your skills and techniques related to your discipline. Getting everyone to think outside of the box is not only freeing to their creativity, but in the long run, it will also make your team more agile and ready to take on new challenges, and possibly innovate in new ways. Also, for anyone who has ever game jammed, there's a level of bonding. I've done jams with people that I've worked with previously, but jams are a totally different beast. First, the pressure of producing a game in a very short period of time is high, while at the same time making something marketable on its own is off the table. You get to hear ideas and concepts from people who don't normally speak about certain issues. For example, your sound designer might propose a great idea for a story, or your graphical artist might suggest a new and innovative mechanic. We all try to build things that we're actually interested in, or tell stories that relate to us and our lives, so indirectly getting people a bit more acquainted. Do I think this is ever going to happen? God, no. AAA companies are too busy trying to build the next big thing, and they aren't really focused on innovation outside of graphics and monetization. But it would be cool. Maybe a few indie teams will pick up this idea and make it happen. I definitely would love to, But as a solo dev, it's not really possible. At least not 50 games. Maybe 12. One for each month. I guess we'll see when we cross that bridge. Thanks for your time, and thanks for watching.